Disney World is extremely crowded right now. If you haven't been recently, you may have heard, read about, seen that the crowds at Disney are higher than we've seen them in a long, long time, especially for this time of year and the past few weeks and months. The reason for that, I'm sure, is a compilation of many different things. It's guests who have had this built up, want to go to Disney, who have been kind of locked down for a little while, who have said to themselves, you know what, we're gonna wait until things are looking good, and now things are looking good, and then every resort at Walt Disney World is completely sold out. Not kidding about that, by the way. They have been sold out at several different times throughout the last few weeks and months. If you look ahead as well, many of the resorts are starting to sell out for the holidays, for example. They're really going pretty fast as the demand for Disney continues to rise. There are a ton of factors that play into the crowds at Disney, but I think one thing that is not helping the crowds is Genie Plus. You may recall when Genie Plus first rolled out, I mentioned that I didn't think it was sustainable in the long term. And they took the opportunity to kind of change how it's done and make more money. That's their hope. And in the short term, I believe it will. I think quarter over quarter for Disney, they're gonna make more money from Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. But I do think that with time, there's gonna be fatigue from this. My thoughts on that have not changed at all. I feel that Genie Plus, makes things a little simpler for those who get it first thing in the morning, but once you get through the morning, maybe it's a 9:15 p.m. time at Small World is the closest thing you can get when you try and book something at noon. To pay $15 per guest to do this every single day, again, is not sustainable in my opinion. It's not just that, the lines all around Walt Disney World have continued to grow, and it's not in the way you might think. The line might still say 20 minutes, but if there's a tremendous number of people who are coming in with a Genie Plus reservation through Lightning Lane at that moment in time, if you stood in the line, you know already what this feels like. You see just tons of people continuing to go through Genie Plus because Disney, and I guess it does make sense, doesn't want to have the people who are paying more have to wait. You know what I mean? Like that they're paying to not wait. It just means that those in the standby line are just passed for over and over and over again. You see 10, 15, 20 people go ahead of maybe one standby group. This opinion is not shared by everyone. There are some who truly love Genie Plus, and there is no problem with that. If you enjoy it, you're really getting the most out of it, you think it's helping your trip a lot, there's no problem with that at all. I'm just saying, in terms of someone who does like to kind of go to the standby line, it can really increase those waits. And it's not just me. I stand in the line, and I can overhear other guests around me who say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, or I'm not a fan of this. Like, you hear these things as you walk around the park. So we do have folks on both sides who are saying some people like it, some people don't. What percentage is on both sides of that discussion is yet to be seen. My guess is that more guests are not liking it as much, but that's just a guess. There is a solution to this, however, a solution that we've actually seen before at Walt Disney World that I think would make a lot of sense. Disney's not gonna do it, but the solution would be to remove the Lightning Lane and Genie Plus entirely and have everything in a standby line. Again, that is not going to happen at Walt Disney World. Not at all, not for 1 second. But we saw when we had first reopened at Walt Disney World, the effects of not having any Fast Pass, Genie Plus, Lightning Lane. The standby line moved really fast. Even though the crowds were less, there's no question about it. When you saw 15 minutes, maybe it was 5. When you saw 45 minutes, maybe it was like 25 minutes. So the lines were moving much, much faster, and you can tell when you're standing there. You can really feel the difference when you're just standing in one spot for like 5 minutes, then you just move a little bit, you know what I mean? You can totally tell the difference when you're standing there. But we need a more feasible solution because that idea of nothing to go along with standby is just not gonna happen. So we need something that could actually happen. This is just my opinion, but I think a really feasible solution here would be to remove Genie Plus and Lightning Lane and again, go back to a free service that everyone can use and choose what they like, and the standby line and Lightning Lane, we'll call it that, line, move at a relatively similar pace, right? So it's not just like tons of people through Lightning Lane, maybe it's not back and forth, but maybe it's like 3 to 1, maybe even 4 to 1 who are going in the line. It's just an idea. That way, there's no real rush to try and get those in the Lightning Lane line through as fast as possible because they paid extra. Everyone is kind of there together, no one paid an additional amount. It makes a lot of sense. There is something deeper happening here though. Disney is definitely starting to get into this arena where there are families, and I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing. I go to the parks all the time. I don't film every single day, but I go and I experience it all the time. And I walk around and I see families who are not quite capturing the magic in the same way that they were in the past. And although that may be the concept for now and the idea that Disney has for now, kind of going into the future here, I think in the long term this is not a solution. This could actually alienate some who feel like, you know what, it's not quite the same place anymore. Let's try something else. That is an extremely dangerous thought. If you're a Disney exec and you're saying to yourself, oh, guests are just going to go try something else, that's just not. If you're a Disney executive, that's not what you want. I'm just saying it. The more this happens, the more families who say, you know what, it's a little too crowded, there's nothing super new, still have to pay that extra to go on these attractions. The more that happens, the more the repeat customers is going to go down and down and down. And right now, Disney's strategy, as we've seen with the annual passes, right? You cannot buy an annual pass more than the bottom tier one, which is for those who live in Florida and you really don't get into the parks on the weekends. Besides that, those have not reopened. So Disney clearly knows what they're doing here. They've thought this through. They do not want the people to come back and the repeat customers. They want the ones who come to the resort, stay for a couple days, and then make their way out. That's what it seems to be their thoughts for now. We'll see if that changes in the future. I truly believe it will. I think that Disney's going to recognize this before you know it. Just take a little bit of time. And then they'll recognize this. They'll say, okay, we got to kind of change strategies here, fix things up. Then they'll be able to fix it up, no problem. It won't take them long to fix it once they kind of get into that gear. But I think that for now, they're going to stick with what's making them record profits. I won't deny it. Right now, it's making them record profits. But eventually, I don't think this is going to work. My opinion. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think that I'm totally off base here, which is totally fine? Or do you think that this is accurate and that Disney really may want to rethink how the guest experience is right now? Let me know your thoughts. Love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks so much for being a part of the magic with me today. Until next time, have a magical day.